The underwater world is really unique, and so much of it has yet to be explored. How amazing humpback whales are! They are huge animals that surprise not only with their size, but also with the tricks they perform. You have to see for yourself how this huge animal jumps out of the water almost entirely, how gracefully they turn over in the air, and with what a crash they fall back into the water. Such a show will certainly never be forgotten. Humpback whales are rarely a danger to humans unless they accidentally hit ships passing by, but they do not attack. They also have practically no enemies in the ocean other than killer whales, which only attack baby humpback whales, never risking a fight with an adult. Perhaps the only real enemy of humpback whales are humans. By throwing tons of garbage, especially plastic, into the ocean, people are destroying the natural habitat of marine life. So many animals swallow bottles that get stuck in their throats, get tangled in nets, cannot get out on their own, and die in agony. Scientists have proven that all the garbage thrown out by people sooner or later ends up in the ocean. Therefore, even if a person lives far away from the water, this does not mean that their trash will not end up there. The story that we are going to tell you today is a great example for all of us. It is about how a person undertakes to solve a problem created by other people almost by themselves. It is about the fact that as long as there are such kind people in our world who are ready to sacrifice themselves for the sake of saving others, not everything is lost in this world. A professional diver named James was very fond of going to sea off the coast of San Francisco. Together with his team, they often dived in these places and knew the local inhabitants well. However, what happened that day remained in the memory of all the brave heroes for a long time. When they stopped the boat and began to prepare for the dive, not far away, a couple of miles from them, James saw something strange. He saw a huge humpback whale who rose from the water for a while and then dove back under. His colleagues decided that the whale wanted to attack them, but James immediately realized that something was wrong with the whale. Usually, whales do not stay in one place for such a long time. They emerge to get some air and then swim further away. But this whale was not behaving normally, so James decided to swim closer to see what was going on. Everyone tried to dissuade him. It was extremely dangerous to swim so close to a humpback whale, but he was relentless. Putting on his gear, James jumped into the water and swam straight up to the whale. As he swam closer, he dived under the water and almost suffocated from what he saw. It turned out that the whale's tail was entangled in chains, apparently from a huge anchor, which pulled him to the bottom, and his whole mouth was entangled with ropes. Heavy chains pulled the poor animal down, and he would try with all his strength to emerge for breath before sinking down again. James immediately decided to help the poor animal by any means. He swam very close to him, ran his hand over his thick skin, and whispered to him not to be afraid, that he would free him from the chains. The humpback whale, as if understanding James, noticeably relaxed. James quickly returned to the boat, told his team about what had happened, and everyone decided at once that they would simply have to save the animal. Having driven the boat as close as possible to the humpback whale, the men set to work. First of all, it was necessary to free the whale's muzzle and mouth from ropes and other debris, giving him the opportunity to fully inhale the air on the surface. James thrust his hand into the whale's mouth up to his shoulders, pulling out pieces of rope, plastic bottles, and bags. The whale, surprisingly, calmly kept his mouth open, as if he understood that James was trying to help him. The debris was so deep in his mouth that it was extremely difficult for James to reach it, and each time he pulled out more and more trash. When finally all the debris from the mouth and throat was removed, the whale swam to the surface, took in more air, and felt noticeably better. But the most difficult work was ahead, freeing the animal's tail from metal chains that stuck into the skin and apparently caused incredible pain to the whale with every movement. James looked into the whale's eyes. He told him to be patient and trust him. The whale seemed to understand every word he said. James and his team carefully, inch by inch, untangled the heavy chains. Staying underwater for that long was not easy, even for experienced divers. Finally, when the last loop of the chain was torn from the tail, the whale jumped out of the water with all its might and began to breathe. He swam at great speed around his rescuers, thanking them in this way. And in the end, he did something that touched all the people who were there. He swam up to James and gently rubbed his cheek against his body. One can only imagine how much the humpback whale was grateful to James for saving him, and that was the only way to express his feelings. In total, the operation to rescue the humpback whale took more than 5 hours. 5 hours of hard work saved the life of a huge marine creature. And how many of them are there that are not lucky enough to be around such a sensitive person as James? Humanity should think about this. Each person can start with themselves. Friends, let's take care of everything that surrounds us. Each of us can do a bit to change this world for the better. Refuse the extra plastic bag in the store by choosing an eco-friendly paper bag. Recycle your plastic and choose reusable bottles. When each person begins to be more conscious about the environment, then our world will become a better place.